As the clock strikes midnight here in the Central Time Zone, the final 2 days of Game 2 in Hoover in the SEC baseball tournament are officially in the books. Oklahoma takes down Georgia 3-2, and Ole Miss beats the Florida Gators by a score of 3-1. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast. Where we get your podcast, you can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. And as always, we're powered by our friends over at FANDUEL. Visit FANDUEL.com/SECU to join today and get started with $250 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. Once again, that's FANDUEL.com/SECU to get $250 in bonus bets today. The final 2 games of day 2 of the SEC tournament are in the books, and we are here reacting to each of these ball games. Oklahoma beating Georgia by a final of 3-2. Ole Miss taking down Florida 3-1 as the clock is past midnight here in Central Time, past 1 a.m. for those on the East Coast. Once again, guys, appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. I'm Chris Phillips, as always, of SEC Unfiltered. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in these 2 games, guys. We asked, right? We asked finally, hey, can we get some quality ball games? Every game we had seen up to this point was a blowout, and I'll have my thoughts on the SEC tournament format and maybe some of the reasons for that and the single elimination and the entire SEC getting in the field, what have you, at a later time. But I want to focus on these ball games. First things first, the game that took place earlier tonight. Oklahoma beats Georgia 3-2 behind what was, and we shouldn't be surprised, yet another masterful performance by Kyson Witherspoon. 7 2/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, no walks, 8 strikeouts. He threw 107 pitches in this ball game for Oklahoma. The rest of the way out, Bowden comes in for a third of an inning, and then you had Crooks, who is their guy, obviously, come in and shut the door there in the 9th inning, throws 11 pitches for them, so I'm sure he will be good to go, maybe even tomorrow. The rest of the tournament, obviously, I thought Georgia spun it pretty well. That's been a big question for them, obviously, all season long. They turn to Quinn. He gives them 4 solid innings, 3 hits, 1 earned, 6 strikeouts. There's really nothing to complain about from the pitching side. I mean, guys, both these games we saw tonight, the theme is going to be, it was elite pitching. I mean, this was elite stuff. Guys, that's the beauty of this tournament. The further we get into it, obviously, we'll see a lot more of it on Thursday, of course, Friday into the weekend. You're going to see teams start trotting out these big-time arms. And when you have a guy like Kyson Witherspoon take the bump, there is just a different sense of belief and a different level of excitement and energy with your ball club. And I thought we saw that with Oklahoma. Once again, guys, I mean, this was another typical game for Oklahoma in which Kyson starts. It feels like every single one of his starts, for the most part, are all low scoring. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, Georgia takes a 1-0 lead in the third. It's 1-1 after 4, but you're sitting there waiting like, man, is Oklahoma really going to blow another quality Kyson Witherspoon start? They do not, with that 2-run 6th inning, set up obviously by the fielder's choice and the Horton single up the middle in which Easton Carmichael is able to score. You make the ball game 3-1. Henry Hunter has hit a home run for Georgia, but it wasn't enough. 3-2 the final. My big question leaving this game, again, well-played ball game, both sides. You look at the box score, 2 costly errors for Georgia. I will say that. When you're facing a guy like a Kyson Witherspoon, like this Oklahoma pitching staff, especially when he's on the bump, every little mistake is costly. It's going to take nearly a perfect game to beat a guy like that from your ball club. You're going to have to be exceptional when it comes to swinging the bats, working at bats. Guys, I know Georgia fans hate to hear it, but where was this game played? It was played in Hoover, Alabama. What did we talk about coming in this tournament? Hey, are Georgia's bats going to show up not at Foley Field? Are they going to show up in a ballpark that I talked about I don't think is built for a team like Georgia to win big here? The good news is this, Dogs fans, you're going to be at home. You're going to be at home this postseason. The big question leaving, did Georgia do enough to lock up a top 8 national seed? Did they do enough? I tend to think they're going to be right there on the edge of it. I feel like Georgia's a top 8. I do. I feel like the Dogs did enough. I don't think losing this game in the SEC tournament should knock them out. But you got Georgia, you've got Auburn, you've got maybe even LSU. You've got a couple teams right there on the fringe of this thing. And you could look at Team A beat Team B, but Team B beat Team C, but Team C beat Team A. Maybe throw, I think Texas is a lock. Arkansas is a lock. I think Vanderbilt is a lock. Who am I missing here? I think there's one other. Here's the thing. How many top 8 national seeds is the SEC going to get? I think Georgia did enough. I really do. But we'll have to see. Now your fate is in the hands of the committee. For Oklahoma, are you going to move into that hosting line? No. But this Oklahoma team, again, especially with Kyson Witherspoon, I don't care if you're a 2, you're a 3, wherever you're going. I think they are dangerous with some of the arms they have, and they have just enough bats to get it done. The sticks are what scare me, and I think the rest of the rotation beyond Kyson's what scares me. We'll see who they throw, obviously, later in this tournament as we look at the rest of the way for the Oklahoma Sooners. Oklahoma will now take on Vanderbilt, which will actually take place, I say tomorrow. It'll take place today. Obviously, later today, that is the game after the first game, or actually after the second game with Texas and Tennessee. Obviously, Auburn and Texas A&M getting us going on Thursday at 11 a.m. local time. Again, I think that'll be a really fun game, right? Does Oklahoma still have enough firepower to go toe for toe, or go toe to toe, if you will, with a Vandy who's going to be fresh? I'd imagine it's going to be J.D. Thompson. If it's not him, it's going to be another one of their stout horses, if you will. But I like this Oklahoma team. I mean, they play fundamental defense well. They do the small things well, little things well. They're able to bunt. They can play small ball. It's kind of a style like Kentucky. And guys, we talked about, if you can pitch and you can do those things I mentioned, especially in Hoover, which is not a bomb box, it's not Foley Field, I think it's more conducive to winning for a style like Oklahoma. So, listen, I mean, the matchup was there for OU to get the win. It was honestly, with him on the bump, a little bit closer than I thought it was going to be. But give Georgia's pitchers credit. They held them in check. And, obviously Kyson Witherspoon leads to the big win. He is the storyline of this ball game. And once again, I think the story leaving now, Oklahoma, I don't think anything's going to change with the seed line. Is Georgia a top 8 national seed? I think that's the debate we're going to have until Sunday night when those seeds are announced. And I see somebody in the comments. I do tend to think LSU's a lock as well. I just know the latest projections had them at a 7 overall national seed, which felt kind of crazy to me, seeing as they're the number 1 team in the country. I don't think that should be much of a conversation. Georgia might be the odd man out. If Auburn loses tomorrow and Georgia swept Auburn, maybe Auburn is the odd team out. I think Vandy's in, Arkansas's in, Texas is in, LSU is in. That is 4 right there, guys. That's half of the top 8 national seeds. Is Georgia that 5th one? I think more than likely the answer is yes. I think more than likely Georgia should be that 5th and Auburn be left out. But if you're a Georgia fan, I think you're pulling for Auburn to lose tomorrow or today. You're pulling for Auburn to lose. They win a few games in Hoover. Things get a little bit dicey for you. Guys, let's move to the nightcap. Ole Miss beats Florida 3-1. Again, guys, we saw big-time arms in both of these last 2. And this was a matchup I was really excited for. And I think this matchup really, truly lived up to the hype and delivered. It really did. Ole Miss now going to get Arkansas in the quarterfinals on Friday. But again, guys, this matchup tonight, Liam Peterson, Hunter Elliott, I mean, just 2 dudes when they're truly at their best. Liam Peterson, 4 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 run, only 1 earned, though. You had that really strange incident, right? I don't know what Ashton Wilson is doing there, where he's throwing. He thinks somebody's going to be at second. Nobody's there. Misses the cutoff. The ball gets away. Few runs scored because of it. I mean, I thought Liam Peterson was really, really sharp early, up to 97, 98 with the fastball. Breaking stuff looked good. Sitting behind home plate for a little bit. He left a few up, and give Ole Miss's team credit. They really attacked him. I mean, I think they were ready for it. They were dialed in. Judd Udemark with a couple big swings to the bat. Humphrey with a big swing of the bat. Smithwick, big swing. Had a couple big swings of the bat tonight by Ole Miss. And with this Ole Miss team, you never questioned when they play up to their ceiling or close to it how good they are. We've seen Ole Miss beat some of the best teams in the SEC throughout this season. But they've been so inconsistent. They've been so up and down. I thought coming in this game, guys, because Ole Miss was my pick in this matchup before the tournament, I thought I was going to be talking about, hey, man, Florida they kind of just ran out of gas. I don't really think that's that fair of an assessment. I just think they ran into some really good arms tonight. I mean, Hunter Elliott was fantastic. 5 1/3, 2 hits, 1 run, no earned in the ball game. 8 strikeouts for him on 98 pitches. Morris comes in, one of their dudes out of the pen. 2 2/3, 2 hits, no runs, no earned, 2 strikeouts. And obviously Spencer, he's throwing 97, 98 in the ninth. He comes in, shuts the door for Hottie Toddy. I mean, you got to tip the cap to that Ole Miss pitching staff. It was just another dominant pitching performance. I think you can kind of nitpick some of the approaches by the Gators hitters maybe a little bit. I think maybe at times trying to do a little bit too much, but you've been red hot, right? Like, it's really hard to be critical of Florida. They're now 15-5 in their last 20 SEC games. I don't think the Gators have much of anything to hang their heads about. I think if anything for this team, maybe a team that we know how banged up they are. I don't know if the time off is going to give them, it's going to benefit them necessarily from the standpoint of like getting some of these guys that are hurt back. But I think Florida, you look at them over the last 6+ weeks, it's just been an all-out sprint to get to the postseason. Now, Kevin O'Sullivan's squad, would you like to still be playing? Sure. But you get to get off your feet. You got a weekend to rest. You're going to find out where you go on Monday, obviously, because you're not going to be hosting. I certainly don't think Florida did enough to host. You're going to be going somewhere, but you got some time now, I think, to catch your breath with the Gators. Not saying you're happy you lost, but if you're looking for the bright side, you've got some time, obviously, to catch your breath and get fresh and get some of these arms fresh. Positive for the Gators, the bullpen was great. Luke McNeely, that was as good as he's looked in quite some time, as good as I've seen him all season long. 2 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts. Jake Clemente comes in, 2 innings pitched, 1 strikeout. I mean, the lineup just didn't do much of anything. Nobody did much of anything for Florida, right? Nobody did. And that's all credit to Ole Miss. That's all credit to Hottie Toddy. They're pitching up just 4 hits for the Gators. You had Bozer with 1, Evans with 1, Wilson with 1, Stripling with 1. But, Florida guys didn't even have their first hit until, I think, the 4th or 5th inning, I believe it was. So Hunter Elliott was just masterful. And that kind of reminded me of a Friday night showdown. And sometimes their guy just beats your guy. And I know fans like to hear that. There's got to be a reason. There's got to be somebody's got to be held accountable. I think sometimes their guy just beats your guy. It's the same thing that happened in the Georgia-Oklahoma game. Sometimes their guys just got 1 or 2 more bullets than your guys got. You got to tip your cap. You got to move on. Now, what this means for Ole Miss, though, I think Ole Miss guys very well could play themselves into the hosting conversation. I really, really do. You look at it, I think Hottie Toddy's right on the edge. Bama loses today, right? They're going to be fighting with Tennessee, which Tennessee beat them in a series. That's certainly the upper hand, but they finish ahead of Tennessee in the SEC, if I do recall correctly. So Ole Miss still fighting for that postseason bid. I'd not say postseason, that hosting bid, if you will. And now the Ole Miss Rebels will get Arkansas in the Friday game at 3 o'clock local time. You're probably going to turn to Riley Maddox. They're probably going to be throwing Zach Root. I don't love the matchup for you, but who knows? Anything can happen. Which version of this Ole Miss team will show up? By the way, they're showing on the broadcast Ole Miss 7th win against Florida in the SEC tournament, most wins against a single opponent in the tournament. Really impressive stuff for Mike Bianco, his club. And I'll be honest, I love to see it for Mike Bianco. Obviously, last year, very much under fire, weren't sure about his future. A lot of Ole Miss fans were less than pleased with the way the program is trending. It looks like they're back on track. And again, when you got a guy like Hunter Elliott you can hand the baseball to, I mean, that eases a lot of your woes. It makes it really easy as a coach. So, anyways, a lot of great pitching performances, guys. I think this is going to be the theme as we go throughout the rest of the SEC tournament. I think you're going to see some really fantastic pitching performances. You're going to see some big-time dudes step up. I mean, the arms are only going to get better and better and better and better and better, especially, again, with the simple fact that some of these teams haven't played. And, you know, for the Arkansas, the LSUs, even the Vandies, the Texases, it's like a normal weekend series for them. So why wouldn't you try to go all out, try to win it? And I see somebody in the comments talking about maybe Arkansas will save Zach Root. What I was told today by my good friend Ty Richardson at ESPN Arkansas, and this is just per him, the mindset for the Hogs is they're going to try to win the whole thing. So, you know, do they save him? Do they not? The strategy is always very, very interesting. But if you're a team like Arkansas playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, potentially, I don't know why you would not just throw your normal weekend rotation. What are you saving him for? You know what I mean? Like, it's a normal weekend for you. So, again, 2 games, very similar in style. The theme is this: 2 aces in Kyson Witherspoon and Hunter Elliott, both dominating in their respective games. So, guys, we're going to call it. I'm losing my voice for whatever reason. It's late night, past midnight here in Central Time, way past 1 a.m. on the East Coast. And, again, we appreciate each and every single one of y'all tuning in. Another really fun day of baseball. I do want to say thank you to all the folks said what's up to us at the ballpark. Hanging out. That's been the best part, guys. We love hanging out with the players and the coaches and talking to them and covering the games, doing these reactions. But getting to meet so many of you guys out at the ballpark, hang out with you, conversate, take it all in, take in what has been a fantastic SEC tournament at this point. That's really what it's all about. Can't say thank you enough, guys. Again, y'all are the absolute best. And for those of you who are right now burning that midnight oil with me on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, whatever it might be, we really appreciate y'all. Those listening via podcast, y'all the absolute best. Thank y'all so much. And again, just 2 fantastic games tonight with 2 aces showing their best stuff in Kyson Witherspoon and Hunter Elliott, and 2 teams, again, I think that will be really, really dangerous postseason teams. Oklahoma, obviously, on the road. Ole Miss, I think right on that cut line of potentially being a regional host, might need to win one more. We'll see if they can do it against Arkansas on Friday. So, guys, again, appreciate you all tuning in as always. We are brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. I want to tell you about our friends over at FanDuel, guys. The wait is over. Baseball season is finally here, and you can start the season strong on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Because right now, FanDuel is celebrating the return of baseball by giving new customers $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel's got so many ways for you to get in on the action, from hits to steals to home runs. They got a lineup filled with all your favorite bets, or if pitching is more of your thing, FanDuel's got a deep bullpen of bets from strikeouts to shutout innings. So when you place your first bet, it can be almost anything, and if it hits, you'll get $250 in bonus bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/SECU to join today. That's FanDuel.com/SECU. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official partners of Major League Baseball. Must be 21 and up and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 and up and present in D.C. First online, real money wager only, $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. In Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Once again, guys, thank you all so much. Really appreciate y'all. Another great day of SEC baseball. The SEC tournament has been absolutely electric, especially these final 2 games. In regards to tomorrow, guys, we've got, starting in the morning, 11 a.m., Auburn, Texas A&M. Then Texas, Tennessee at 3, and Vanderbilt and Oklahoma immediately following that one, guys. We will have one big show tomorrow night instead of what we've been doing the halfway midday point shows and then late shows, the 2 shows obviously breaking the day in half. We will do one big show recapping and breaking down all 3 of those games tomorrow night. It will be nowhere near as late as it is. So, again, we can all look forward to that. And I appreciate you guys understanding, obviously, but really excited to take in all 3 of those games at the Met and talk about them and break them down and react to them tomorrow night with you all. So, guys, as always, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, you can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. As always, guys, I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Y'all have a great rest of your night, and we will talk to you all tomorrow from Hoover.